Hello everyone, and welcome to another Company Heroes 2 replay cast. My name is ATR, and today we're going to have ourselves a 1v1 in Kholodny Ferma. Our heroes today are going to be Blitz, playing for the Soviets, and his opponent is going to be GUNZPOWPOW, playing for the Germans. Both players not top ranked, they are kind of evenly matched. They're within the 800 rank, both of them, for their, their sides. So yeah, should be an evenly matched game. Now, while this goes underway, let's take a look at those bulletins. We have Blitz selecting the little mishmash here of bulletins. He has a 5% cooldown reduction for the combat engineers. He has a 3% accuracy upgrade for penal battalions, and he has 4% accuracy increase for the half-track. So a little bit of a split here. And for GUNZPOWPOW, or Guns, as he is laying down barbed wire on the map, very nice. He has 3% accuracy on his MG, and then he has 3% reload and 3% accuracy for his grenadiers. So a little bit more generic, more aimed towards the early game. Now, right off the bat, we also see that Blitz has built Tier 1 and is getting himself a penal battalion with a second one following up after that. No conscripts or anything, just penal battalions. First penal battalion already on the field. If we double-click here, does it follow? No, it actually needs to be done on the portrait. Okay, there you go. So, interesting. I mean, he's going to be going to the penal battalions. Penal battalions are rather strong. I mean, I do like them. They are quite heavy in the cost in both production and reinforcement. So it's always a nice idea to have a conscript squad nearby to merge with them. So while getting 2 penal battalions is strong, it is a little bit too much on the manpower. And I would personally suggest throwing a conscript squad in the mix. Things that I've seen other players do is having the combat engineers instantly build Tier 1 and at the same time have a conscript squad be produced. So even though the penal battalion will take a little bit longer to come into the field, it'll have a conscript squad there on the field to be able to support and merge with, because penal battalions cost 30 per man to reinforce, while conscripts is only 20, and health and armor-wise, they are pretty much exactly the same. A conscript merged into a penal battalion does gain the SVT rifle, the actual higher damage rifle. So yeah, I mean, it's really no significant or discernible difference. Now, we did see a small engagement here in the center as the penal battalion ran into 2 of the grenadiers and, well, ended up losing and forced to retreat. Second squad is currently down in the south capturing, while the combat engineers for Blitz are going for fuel cache, so spending his manpower and building observation posts, essentially. This means he's not going to be building anything just yet, and is going to be using the manpower to reinforce, apparently. GUNZPOWPOW, for his part, he went Tier 1 like you would expect, getting 4 Grenadiers and an MG42. He went, I believe, 3 Grenadiers into MG into a 4th Grenadier, so quite nice. And as far as doctrines go, we see that Blitz has selected his doctrine, and that is the Defensive Tactics Doctrine, which is essentially Tier 2. It gives you the access to a light AT gun. You can also lay down some mines, which are really nice. Getting tank traps, which I have yet to see used at all. You get a heavy machine gun, which is really nice, though it does come into until 2 command points, and then you also have the 120mm mortar. So, not exactly the same units as Tier 2, but the same type of units. I mean, Tier 2 gives you access to an AT gun, a machine gun, and a mortar, so same thing. So, because of that, and the fact that he's getting fuel caches, I can only assume that we're going to be seeing him build Tier 3 rather quickly, and either, I would assume, a T70, although he does have that bulletin for the half-track, so maybe he's going to be putting a half-track in there. Penal battalion in the center trying to capture that victory point, getting shot at in both sides from grenadiers. Their SVT rifles do quite a bit of damage, but in that amount of health that they have already, and having lost 2 men, they will not win the fight, and much less against 2 grenadier squads. While usually a conscript squad loses a one-on-one fight with a grenadier at long range, a penal battalion, I believe, usually wins. Second Penal Battalion moving down from the north, trying to get on top of that Grand Squad, capturing the victory point. However, the MG42 for Guns moves up and sets up a very nice angle. Instantly suppresses that Penal Battalion, which will lose men on the retreat. Probably going to be making it out at 3 men at the last. There it goes. 1 last guy dies, and 3 men make it out alive, just barely. Penal Battalion also moving down to the south, now reinforced, but not healed up. So that is another problem with the Penal Battalion. They cost too much manpower, and because he doesn't have... Oh, down goes one instantly. Down goes another, jeez. And down goes another, wow. So instantly losing 3, that's the main problem. So right there, he already lost a lot of manpower, bleeding a lot of manpower. Rifle nade goes off from the Grents, but the Penals had already retreated, so they're fine. But yeah, get a conscript squad. If you're going to be going with Penal Battalions, at least get one conscript squad so you can continuously merge with them. Even if you're not going to use the conscript squad for combat, at the very least, merging with the Penal Battalion constantly is good. But also, you know, having the conscript squad moving with the Penal Battalion is also very nice, as the Penal Battalion moves forward, takes the damage, inflicts damage, takes losses. The conscript merges with them on the fly, in the combat, in the field, and you know, you can continue to pump out that damage. But oh well. MG42 for guns pops into the house and is opening up on the fuel cache they got built for Blitz. Both of them right there. We do see that tier 3 is going down for Blitz as we expected. So like I said, it's either going to be a T70 or a half-track, considering that the half-track is selected in the bulletins, so maybe we will. Half-track with a Penal Battalion inside of it is not too bad of a thing. I mean, we have seen previously, as Barton showed us, and other people do it, obviously, but we showed the game with Barton where you put 2 combat engineers with flamethrowers in a half-track, and it's just ridiculously good against infantry, because a half-track takes a lot of punishment. It actually takes multiple Faust to take down, and the 2 flamethrowers shoot from the top, just incinerating everything. It's essentially, you know, the Soviet version of the flame half-track from the Germans. Sorry about that, I knocked my speaker on the floor. Not sure if it came across in the microphone, but I did. Anyways. So heavy machine gun getting called onto the field for Blitz, the fuel cache getting destroyed in the center, and we see the half-track being the one called in. So yeah, that is in fact... What is going on? So the heavy machine gun gets called in, and Blitz decides to burn it. I can only assume because he wants to put Penal Battalion in there? Like, use a Penal Battalion to pick it up? Is that actually accurate? What is going on? Okay. Yeah, he's doing that. Okay, well, I'm not sure if that's actually worth it, but I guess we'll see. So Blitz decides to torch the men in his heavy machine gun and have them all killed, and recruits the heavy machine gun with Penal Battalion, giving the men in the heavy machine gun SVT rifles. So the squad itself does have more output, although they're still going to die very quickly, considering that, you know, that. Anyways, Penal Battalion with a flamethrower pops into the half-track, so we do see this come into play. And the half-track pushes forward. It can continue to push forward. There isn't much that it has to worry about right now, and the flamethrower could dislodge that MG42 in the house. Heavy machine gun pushes up with a combat engineer squad there for support. Flamethrowers continue to go off. Actually, on the outside, on the Grand Squad down south. The Penal Battalion down in the south with his flamethrower. Oh, throws a satchel charge at the squad down south, and it eliminates a Grenadier squad. Nice pickup there for Blitz, but I am still, you could say, flabbergasted by him doing that. I mean, he could have very easily just put out the heavy machine gun onto the field, have it fight, have it do stuff, and then eventually it loses men and is forced to retreat so that you don't lose it. And then maybe you can just torch that, but I don't know. I don't get it, but oh well. Anyways, heavy machine gun pops into the house. Blitz pops his units outside of the half-track and is not reinforcing this guy, but going for the cap on the point. Grenadier squad in the center, getting shot at by the heavy machine gun and on the retreat. Light AT gun on the field for Blitz. This is nice against light vehicles. Medium tanks do take damage, but they take very small amounts of damage, so they can very easily go head-on and take it out if they want to. Multiple ones of these, though, are a threat, but, you know, it's at least something there on the field that actually hits a tank and can potentially do damage. So, regardless, it is a small bit of a deterrent. So the half-track pops up with its Penal Battalion and is going all the way forward towards the cutoff point. Panzer IV makes himself known for guns. He went tier 2, tier 4, but I mean tier 2, tier 3, but he didn't get anything from tier 2, so not exactly sure why he built tier 2, if he was going to skip it. Maybe he wasn't planning on, but he saw the opportunity. Half-track ends up getting shot and abandoned. The Penal Battalion jumps out. And the Panzer IV is getting shot at by the AT gun. As you can see, it did take damage, but it's very minimal amounts of damage, so it's not in any immediate threat, but it can't just sit in front of the AT gun taking shot after shot. More AT guns getting called into the field for Blitz. His heavy machine gun is all the way back over there, so it's just being used for defense. Rifle nade goes off on the AT gun. The AT gun takes a couple losses, but that's about it. Penal Battalion trying to hold strong in the center of the field. Panzer IV moves forward. AT gun continues to shoot at the Panzer IV. Panzer IV getting shots bounced off of it. No, there it goes. Penetration on the frontal armor. Panzer IV is at about 75% strength. More shots go off and continue to hit. The heavy machine gun jumps out of the house, decides to abandon it and pushes forward. The Dishka, the SHK heavy machine gun, gets the suppression off on that Grand Squad. The Grand Squad manages to get out of the range as they crawl. Heavy machine gun turns around and continues to shoot. AT gun turning around through the half-track. Rifle nade goes off, hits the heavy machine gun down to 2 men. That is exactly what I was referring to. The heavy machine gun could have been used in the fight. Once it takes some damage, then maybe you can, consider decrewing it, but I don't know. Anyways, MG42 that got stolen in the church manages to get suppressions off on the enemy MG42. And another Panzer IV is getting produced for GUNZPOWPOW as he repairs his half-health Panzer IV a little bit further back on the line. Grenadiers push forward, getting suppressed by the heavy machine guns. As the MG42 is over there, the half-track is still on the field, still abandoned. Gonna get recovered by these combat engineers. We'll also need to get some desperate repairs going so that it can get back to full strength. The combat engineers are reinforcing. The heavy machine gun is right in range now to reinforce as the combat engineers repair a slightly moving vehicle. And the AT guns are now set up in the very front of the line, taking shots at the grenadiers. The Panzer IV decides to go south for a little bit of a flank, it looks like, as the second Panzer IV is just hitting the field right now for GUNZPOWPOW, and that can very easily spell doom for Blitz. Blitz, for his part, has not built anything else from tier 3 aside from his half-track. Could try to get something else, but so far has not been able to. AT guns a little bit forward, going for the cutoff point. We see a mine? Oh, yeah. Ooh, very nice. We have S minefields getting laid down in the southern munitions point for GUNZPOWPOW. However, a minesweeper for Blitz is nearby to be able to remove it. The half-track, now surrounded by Panzer IVs, is trying to move out of the way. The MG42 is down to 1 man, potentially going to be lost here. Gets reinforced on the fly. The half-track now getting targeted by the Panzer IVs. Panzer IVs take it out. Down goes the half-track. AT guns opening up as fast as they can on the Panzer IVs. Might be able to take one down. AT gun takes a nasty rifle nade, but down goes the Panzer IV. Nice pickup there for these light AT guns. AT guns continue to move, turning around, getting Panzer IV in their sights. Panzer IV tries to move out of the way, but the AT gun is set up in a nice angle there, covering a lot of surface. AT guns continue to move around, down to 2 men. They cannot reinforce on the field. Grenadiers forced to retreat due to the heavy machine gun and some combat engineers. And the combat engineers with their minesweeper down south are working on removing all those S minefields. So very nice. Far in the north and pretty much near the base for Blitz, the Panzer IV is essentially cut off behind the lines. The AT guns are moving back, trying to engage it. However, they are very low in health and down to 2 men each. This one needs reinforcing very heavily, and a conscript squad would work wonders here as they could merge with the squad very easily, but no. Try to get conscripts. Conscripts are a staple thing. Even if you don't want to focus on conscripts, get one squad. 18-8s work wonders against tanks. Molotovs can also be very useful. And the ability to merge with your more stronger squads is very nice. Also remember, attack ground is also a possibility. If your AT guns have lost sight of your enemy, just tell them to attack ground right where they were, and they can potentially kill it off. As it stands, though, that Panzer IV barely makes it out of there with a sliver of health. And the AT gun up north sets up, but is not able to actually get a shot off. Penal Battalion engaging against Grants up in the north. Flamethrower going off, trying to get some damage off. There goes 2 of the Grenadiers. Penal Battalion now gets 1 more kill down to 1 man on that Grunt Squad. Grunt Squad going to be going down, no retreat. And we also see an LMG getting dropped. That Penal Battalion can pick it up and should increase their firepower even further. Down south, GUNZPOWPOW going for some capping as we have a combat engineer with the minesweepers just sneaking all the way down to the strategic point there. Fuel point getting capped. T-34 now on the field for Blitz. He does know that there's a Panzer IV that is currently damaged. Is he actually going to go on the hunt for it? It looks like he might. He's going very aggressive, very forward. MG42 running into that T-34. T-34 decides to stop and engage that MG42. The Penal Battalion behind it getting shot by the MG42. Ends up getting 3 of its men killed, forced to retreat. The T-34 unable to finish it off at all. It's not hitting anything. It's just hitting the ground. The squad itself is actually decently spread out. Notices though, well, that's a tank, I can't really kill it, so I'm going to retreat. And 2 pilots are currently repairing the Panzer IV up in the far north, which means it will come back onto the field at full strength eventually. Another Panzer IV and Panzer Grenadiers getting produced for GUNZPOWPOW, so he's finally using his Tier 2. So I suppose it's fine that he built it. Could have skipped it, but he built it. Grenadiers going down, and combat engineers retreating. AT gun now reinforced. This is the MG42 Penal Battalion. And up in the north, the T-34 runs into the Panzer IV. The Panzer IV now almost at full strength, so the T-34 knows that that fight is not going to be won for him, so he moves out of the way. And that LMG up in the north is still there. Not sure why it wasn't picked up, which is unfortunate, but Penal Battalion with an LMG and a flamethrower? Come on. How can you say no to that? T-34 sets itself up in the center, covered by the church. AT gun covering the entire side. Do we actually know what the veteran sees here? It says rate of fire and weapon control and accuracy and penetration for this gun. Let's take a look if I actually have the info for that one. The specific details. It'll take a bit, but hold on. MG42 in the center catches the other MG42 out in the open, getting a suppression. The AT gun sets up and starts opening up on the MG42. Not able to kill it, but the MG42 down south does open up on it, getting a suppression. Or will get a suppression eventually. There it goes. Well, let's see here. The AT gun is... the AT gun is called what? The M42 44mm AT. I mean 45mm. Anyways, Panzer IVs move into the center, getting a very nice flank on the T-34. Going around, we have mines getting laid down all over the place. For Blitz, however, he placed them too close together, which means they detonated at the same time. Panzer IV, though, does get pretty much its engine destroyed, meaning that it's now slowed to a crawl. The T-34 gets shot at by the other Panzer IV, destroying its weapon. Panzer IV over here turns its gun, destroys the T-34, and this Panzer IV is slowly moving out of the way. There is an AT gun, however, looking at it, and it will be able to take it out. No, it actually destroys the AT gun. AT gun down, and the MG42 is the only thing remaining, which cannot actually kill a tank, and is going to have to retreat. We see a half-track moving into the field, but that's not going to do anything. A Penal Battalion with a satchel right on top of that Panzer IV can't finish it off very easily, as it cannot really move out of the way. And up in the far north, we have a combat engineer squad with minesweepers, as Pyos move into the center to try to repair. Penal Battalion is going for the fuel point, as at the far down south we have the heavy machine gun capturing that strategic point. And I'm trying to see about the AT guns. Excuse me. 53k? Well, regardless, it should be about 30% penetration. Which means at Veteran C3, those light AT guns do actually do a decent amount of damage. I mean, decent for what they are, of course. Panzer IV in the center, getting shot at by the light AT gun. The Penal Battalion trying to retreat through the Panzer IVs. barely makes it out. T-34 moves up with the support of an AT gun. The Panzer IV in the center is still not repaired. T-34 moves up. AT gun takes one last shot, and down goes the Panzer IV. T-34 now backs off as the AT gun over here moves into position. MG-42, however, does catch that AT gun in the open. However, with their heavy cover provided by the actual gun itself, the MG-42 is really unable to do much to the crew. Can actually kill them, but cannot get them suppressed or anything of that nature, so they are fine. MG-42 forced to back off. Stolen MG-42 moving into the center as the T-34 pushes forward. And the Panzer IV is getting repaired on the field by those piles. It is at about 90% strength, so it'll be quick. And up in the center, combat engineers are just next to an LMG that got dropped that nobody's picking up, and probably no one will. Penal Battalion moving out, not fully reinforced. There is a half-track on the field, however, so they can finish reinforcing on the fly, so that's fine. Half-track does get its anti-air package to allow it to shoot at infantry a little bit more effectively and potentially take down planes, though we can see by the Doctrine selection, since GUNZPOWPOW has gone for Elite Troops Doctrine, that he will not have any planes to actually shoot at. Panzer Grenadiers running into the thick of things. They get their Panzer Shreks equipped right at the last second as they are forced to retreat off the field, so that is quite unfortunate for them. We also see a half-track on the field for GUNZPOWPOW. The T-34 notices it. However, it sees that it is a Panzer IV shooting at it, so decides to shoot back at the actual tank. Pio's backing off and getting some more repairs going, as in the far south we have some Grenadiers just capping around. And in the north, we have the combat engineers just sitting around. Combat engineers notice the LMG and decide to go for it, so these combat engineers are now badasses. But they are still probably going to die. And the units for Blitz are just sitting around in the center. Heavy machine gun being used to capture this strategic point, so it cuts off the southern resources for GUNZPOWPOW, impacting his economy severely. Penal Battalion jumps into the house, using its flamethrower to its advantage. We see the anti-air gun from the half-track opening up on the MG-42 in the center of the road. A nasty bundle nade goes off into the house, killing 3 of the Penal Battalion members as they pop out. And the Panzer Grenadier Squad decides to take their position in the house, getting more suspicion. However, they're not getting shot at by AT guns and tanks and everything in between. Half-track moves to the back, trying to take out a Grenadier Squad. Grenadier Squad might be going down. Down goes one Grenadier Squad. Second squad is at full strength and 4 men. So yeah, I mean, well, full strength. This is all the only thing I should actually say. So they'll make it out. They lose 1 man on the retreat. Second man goes down, loses a third one. So barely makes it out, simply because they were so healthy when they started retreating. And very lucky break there for GUNZPOWPOW. South. Combat engineers going to cap. As we have Panzer Grenadiers jumping into the house, they'll be able to throw some Shreks off on that T-34. T-34 and everything else is shooting at the Panzer Grenadiers. Panzer Grenadiers move out, get suppressed, and forced to retreat. T-34 goes in a little bit of a pursuit, takes a nice shot, nails one of the Panzer Grenadiers, but they still make it out, and the MG-42 is further back as Penal Battalions move in to capture points. There is a fuel cache down south for guns, and he is trying, well, Blitz is trying to burn it out with his flamethrower Penal. The Panzer IV moves down to try to save it or engage it. Ram goes off on the T-34, gets a nice crit. Actually, no, it only gets the crew shock, and the T-34 is now gone. Unfortunate gamble there for Blitz. The light AT gun does move into position to try to get some shots off on the Panzer IV. However, it only ends up getting itself killed by the Panzer Grenadiers. Half-track moves up to support, but yeah, the T-34 is gone, and the Panzer IV is only down to about half health. Combat engineers with the LMG are trying to capture that fuel point as the Panzer IV shoots at them. However, the Panzer IV cannot really stay here for too long, as there are 2 light AT guns nearby. Takes a shot, loses its gunner on top. The light AT guns continue to shoot. Mines getting laid down in this approach would have been very nice in this situation. Engine gets damaged here for the Panzer IV. Those light AT guns doing quite a bit of work. The combat engineer with the LMG is trying to retreat. It does have to retreat through the front of that Panzer IV. The coaxial gun and main gun shooting at it as he runs. Combat engineer squad with the minesweepers run into the Panzer IV and might actually get themselves crushed if they're not careful. And the Panzer IV is trying to run away. The light AT guns are moving down south. They get in range, but not able to shoot. There it goes. Shots going off, hitting on the side skirts of that Panzer IV. The Combat Engineer Squad is forced to retreat, down to one man, as the light AT gun is now pursuing. Half-track moving up to the north, engaging the German half-track. The anti-air weapon opening up on the German half-track, doing a little bit of damage. Not as much as you would think, considering it is an anti-air weapon designed to pierce, airplane hulls. But I suppose it is a little bit stronger here for the vehicle. Panzer Grenadier Squad and the Grenadier Squad are forced to retreat in the face of the Penals and the anti-air weapon, because the Penal Squad is getting reinforced on the fly. Half-track down to a sliver of health, should be going down in one more burst by the half-track, as the Penal Battalions push forward and get right in front of the base. Down south, the AT gun gets itself destroyed by the Panzer IV, so the Panzer IV winning that engagement very handily. The other AT gun is facing the forward side of the base for GUNZPOWPOW. However, it could do with turning around and going down south to try to engage that Panzer IV, as it is very low in health. There's a T-34 on the field, however, for Blitz, so that is probably going to be the one being utilized to hunt it down. The AT gun moves around, but decides, I'm going to set up in the same angle as the Panzer IV maybe passes by. And I'll use my T-34 to chase it down. T-34 moves down, and it's going to spot the Panzer IV. Yeah, spots the Panzer IV, takes a shot on the rear armor. Shot bounces. Panzer IV turns around very quickly with its very maneuverable weapon, but one nicely placed shot by the T-34 in the rear armor takes down the Panzer IV, even with its veteran and armored skirts, and down it goes. MG42 moves up into the front, duking it out with both of the other MGs. The MG42 gets a suppression off on the normal MG42, while the heavy machine gun breaks its suppression. T-34 moves up, takes some shots, and down it goes, but we now have a Tiger Ace on the field for GUNZPOWPOW. This is going to be very difficult for Blitz to deal with, as he only has one T-34 and a light AT gun on the field. The Tiger Ace is still capable of dealing and taking a lot of punishment, considering that it is a veteran C3 Tiger. Ram goes off on the T-34, going to burn out its engine as it did it at max range. Does a little bit of a fender bender there in the front of the Tiger, not actually doing anything. Tiger takes some shots in return by the T-34, but nothing that it can't really just shrug off, and down goes the T-34. More T-34s getting produced for Blitz. GUNZPOWPOW is just going to push forward with his Tiger. The Tiger has nothing to fear here. The light AT gun unable to really do much to penetrate the armor of the Tiger Ace. Light AT gun turning around, getting its sights on the Tiger Ace. The Tiger Ace moving out of the way of the AT gun as well, not even wanting to take that sheer amount of damage. And the Tiger Ace is just working on the crew. Will probably clean off and kill the weapon itself. AT gun sets up, but nothing. Down to 3 men. The heavy machine gun is forced to retreat, and one nicely placed shot destroys the weapon, leaving one guy to retreat in the face of terror as the Tiger Ace tries to chase down the heavy machine gun as it retreats. However, spinning its hull does not allow it to get a nice lock on the target, and it doesn't actually shoot. Up in the north, the engineers with the LMGs just going around capping, as penal battalions are being used to cap as well. T-34 goes for a ram in the center, only manages to get a crew shock on the Tiger, and the Tiger just takes a little bit of damage, shrugs it off, gets back in working order, and shoots at the T-34. T-34 gets abandoned. Guns is going to target it down and destroy it. There it goes. And we see the piles for Guns moving up and probably going to repairing that Tiger. Light AT gun moves up, sets itself up, covering the approach very nicely. But not a lot that can be done. We see Blitz laying down some preemptive mines as the Tiger moves closer and closer to his base. So not a bad thing to do. Half-track moves forward, trying to scout out. Sees nothing. The Tiger Ace, I think it might have actually seen the half-track. It does see the half-track now. The half-track is trying to move out of the way. Tiger Ace takes a shot. Half-track takes about half damage and moves out of the way. The penal battalion up north will be fine. And the Tiger Ace is now going to pursue the half-track. Victory points, Blitz is at 215, while GUNZPOWPOW is down to 164. GUNZPOWPOW currently controlling 2 points, which means that Blitz cannot really hope to win this by victory points currently. Down south, we see the half-track using its overdrive to get right on top of Panzer Grenadiers. Panzer Grenadiers do not have Shrek, but they will be able to do damage to the half-track. However, the half-track does have an anti-air weapon, which means it can do a lot of damage to infantry. Not doing a lot of damage to this squad right now as it stands, though, and it allows them to get out of there alive. Light AT gun moves up. We see a ram going off on the Tiger. It gets immobilized. Nice, very nicely placed crit there. Very lucky break for Blitz. The light AT gun will set itself up to be able to shoot at the Tiger Ace as the Pios are desperately trying to repair it, getting back in working order. The heavy machine gun is opening up on the Pios as they approach. Some mines get detonated here as the Pios approach, and only one Pio squad is left there. Combat engineers move up and are going to get repairs going on the T-34, trying to get it back in working order, as a MG-42 is covering the approach down south, making sure that nobody moves in, and the combat engineers are getting the flank on that MG-42 as well. T-34 at about 70% strength. The Pios go down, however, to the heavy machine guns. So the T-34 is in excellent position. The light AT gun continues to shoot at the Tiger Rays, getting damage. Not a lot of damage, but you know, it gets damage. You can see there that penetration went through and brought the Tiger Rays down to about half health after sustained shots, but you can see that the penetration is not too great, and it takes quite a while. Even with the increased penetration of Veteran T3, it is struggling. T-34 almost about to get fully repaired. It looks like Blitz might be able to get that Tiger Race and potentially secure the game. Panzer Grenadiers moving into the center with their Shreks. They're going to try to take out that T-34, but the T-34 is about to get fully repaired. If the Shreks don't get in there in time and add increased damage, no, the shots go off on the light AT gun. Wrong target to focus on. The Panzer Grenadiers are suppressed by the heavy machine gun. T-34 gets back to full strength, now gets itself behind the Tiger Race and will shoot at the rear armor. Could do with moving a little bit further up north and shoot behind. And the Tiger Rays will be going down. We see a Pio moving up to the north. That's about it. As the combat engineers are capping at the same time. Very nice. Tiger Rays just sitting there, taking shot after shot after shot, and a lot of bounces and non-penetrations. This just goes to show how good it is, but it did take 3 rams for Blitz to be able to get that immobilization. And a very lucky crit, because you can also just crit and destroy the weapon and damage the engine, allowing the Tiger Race to back off and stay alive. Second T-34 moves into the field for Blitz, and they should be able to eventually finish off this Tiger Race. Eventually. Shots continue to fly. Panzer IV getting produced for GUNZPOWPOW. But with 2 T-34s on the field, the Panzer IV is going to be outmatched. And down goes the Tiger Race, restoring the income for GUNZPOWPOW as far as fuel and manpower goes. But at this point, he is down to 2 Panzer Grenadier squads. Although, that's not actually too bad, considering that Blitz only has 1 penal battalion as a combat troop. Grenadier squad goes down, trying to retreat in the face of that half-track. The Panzer Grenadiers... No, never mind. So, Panzer Grenadiers were back at base. The Panzer IV didn't even get produced. Didn't finish the production, so it's quite unfortunate for Guns. So, decides to throw in the towel at that point. He was already down in victory points and lost his mainstay, so yeah. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the game. If you have any positive or negative remarks, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. If you have any replays you want to send me, go ahead and send them to the email that I will put in the description. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.